Attending a good concert can be one of the most thrilling things you can do as a fan. For ARMY, going to a BTS concert is the ultimate desire for most fans. Concerts are a way to celebrate the music you love with your fellow fans and the original artist in an atmosphere that feels like nothing else. For that reason, a bad concert can be one of the most disappointing things a fan can experience. But what about a concert that's bad not because of the performers, but because of the organizers? Right after BTS completed their first ever tour in the USA, called 2015 Live Trilogy Episode 2 The Red Bullet, which I am proud to say I've attended, I went to the Dallas stop, they quickly announced another North American tour in the latter half of 2015. This tour was called the BTS Highlight Tour, and it was a lot.
We was waiting an hour in the rain for them. Did you hear that? No.
There are girls crying that, like, I am in awe right now.
Some might even call this the Dashcon of the BTS fandom. From staff flipping off fans to locking ticketed customers out of the venue, this video is the story of the 2015 BTS Highlight Tour. Before we go further, I want to state that because the tour was such a mess, the organizers of the event deleted their social media, making it hard to find their original statements, and no one thought to archive it in the Wayback Machine. Luckily, many K-pop news sites and fan sites copy-pasted their announcements to inform fans, so a lot of my information comes from that. Also, filming was prohibited in the concert venue itself, so a lot of my information relies on fan accounts. That being said, a lot of these fan accounts told very similar stories, and the organizers later released a huge document/apology that confirmed most of what the fans said. But now, let's get into it. What was the Highlight Tour? In late May 2015, the streetwear label Community 54, in partnership with TGM Events, announced the Highlight Tour via TGM's social media, stating, "Community 54 will be embarking on a 4-city promo tour in North America entitled Highlight to launch their collaboration line featuring their brand ambassador. The promo tour will be jointly organized by TGM Entertainment and their event partners, K-Town Night Market, Wired Rebels, and DFT Productions." The tour promised a night of music and fashion for all who attended, and called itself a fan meeting rather than a full concert. Tickets went on sale May 24, 2015, very shortly after announcing the tour, which should be a warning sign. If you look at the poster TGM originally released for the tour, a few things should jump out at you. First of all, neither the local artist nor the K-pop artist was announced. Fans were already pretty certain that the K-pop act was BTS due to various rumors, but it's kinda whack to announce a tour and start selling tickets without revealing who people are paying to see. TGM wouldn't officially confirm that BTS was a K-pop performer until July 8, 2015, after tickets had already been on sale for months. I also read some articles written in 2015 that claimed the actual dates of the tour weren't finalized until June 3, 2015, several weeks after tickets had gone on sale. The actual venue for each city wasn't announced until the week of July 8, 2015, several months after tickets went on sale, and only a month or two before the event was scheduled to happen. I found several sources stating the venues were announced at different times, but all the given dates were far too close to the actual event. Apparently, when fans contacted the Houston venue, House of Blues, the venue said they were not aware of the tour. This heightened suspicion with the whole thing, since fans were already suspicious from the confusing ticketing system, which I'll talk about in a bit, and the slow drip of information from the organizers. But after House of Blues corrected themselves and fans found credits that BTS filmed their 2015 summer package in collaboration with TGM Events, these suspicions were, unfortunately, put to rest. Additionally, these tickets were not your typical concert tickets. Instead, fans would buy t-shirts from Ticktail, an online store similar to Etsy. Apparently, after fans bought the shirt, TGM would email the buyer an invitation to the concert, and the buyer would RSVP via a link in the email which would grant them access to the event and a high-touch session with BTS in their city of choice. The fashion part of the Night of Music and Fashion tagline of the event was how TGM explained this odd ticketing choice. In total, it cost about $70 to buy this shirt. But this $70 option wasn't the only choice. There were also some VIP upgrades on sale. This VIP bundle included early entry to the venue, an autograph session with an official poster provided by the Highlight Tour staff, and a group photo with BTS. This VIP pass cost about $150 and was available after purchasing the $70 t-shirt. But good news! Even if you didn't buy this pass, you could still buy separate passes to the group photo session and autograph session. Refunds were available to buyers before August 31st, 2015, and refunded tickets were resold for $50. Buying this shirt ticket did not include admission to the High Touch, which will be important later. Community 54 only made a post announcing their collaboration with BTS on August 20th, though this post was deleted. The next post, on September 13th, made the official announcement with the heading, BTS Highlight Tour announced, get your tickets to sold out show with Community 54. Yes, they misspelled highlight, and it's still viewable on their website. This announcement had a special deal for Community 54 customers. We have exclusive fan engagement passes available for Community 54 customers. There will be 100 autograph passes and 100 group photo passes for each tour city. With these passes, you will also receive a pass for the actual show. To get one of these exclusive passes, go to community54.com and make a purchase worth $250. For 1 week only, these passes are reduced from $500 to $250. Sale ends September 20th. This is, again, a very strange way to do ticket sales. All of this might have seemed pretty suspicious on its own, but now let's talk about the history of the organizers of this event, especially TGM Events. TGM Events is a part of TGM Entertainment, which was founded in 2014 and mainly deals with organizing K-pop events. The company operates in both the USA and Malaysia and has a rather poor history with managing previous K-pop events. For example, 2 of its previous USA tours never actually happened. They were supposed to put on Kim Tae-woo's Spring Romance Tour, but it was cancelled, and Eric Nam's US Tour 2015, which was indefinitely postponed and now is definitely forever postponed after the Highlight Tour debacle. Even more damning, TGM was the organizer of a B1A4 fan meet in Malaysia in January 2015. This event was infamous at the time for the controversy where B1A4 members hugged hijab-wearing fans, which led to TGM being blacklisted from holding events in the country. The founder and CEO of TGM, Nadia Leong, had worked with BTS previously during their show Go BTS for Mnet, and, as stated, helped the group film their 2015 summer package in Kota Kinabalu, Malaysia. Nadia was also the editor-in-chief for K-Pop United, but the company released a statement shortly after the Highlight Tour distancing themselves from her. As a side note, the reason why TGM was credited in BTS's summer package 2015 in Kota Kinabalu, Malaysia was apparently because Nadia Leong's mother owned the Malaysian resort that BTS filmed at. I can't find any concrete proof of this besides a bunch of comments alleging this connection, so take it with a grain of salt. But I do remember this being a big deal at the time. Yeah, all of this information that fans generally already knew about before the Highlight Tour makes it seem like anyone who purchased a ticket, or shirt I guess, was a gullible fool for doing so. But we have to remember what the US K-pop concert landscape was like in 2015. K-pop groups touring to anywhere outside Asia was extremely rare back then, and many fans never knew when they would be able to see their favorite group again. These days, before Rona RIP, K-pop groups came to the USA on their tours quite regularly, but honestly that's only because of BTS's successful tours, besides this one, and the subsequent growing market for K-pop in the USA that made touring here viable. So don't think of the fans who decided to buy a shirt ticket despite having this information as brainless or gullible. For them it was potentially the only shot they had at seeing their favorite group. Alright, now that we've covered the lead up to this disaster, let's talk about what actually happened at the concert. And oh boy, was there a lot that happened. What was supposed to happen at the concert dates was that fans would check in with TGM staff before the event to receive their t-shirt and appropriate wristbands to indicate if they paid for high touch, autograph, photo, etc. After this, the autograph session would take place, followed by the actual performances starting at 7 p.m. Afterwards, the high touch and photo sessions would happen, and then the event would end. The events generally did follow this outline, but there were still a lot of problems. Soul Beats did a great article covering this event in 2015 where they interviewed fans who went to the tour, so I'll be pulling from that a lot. You can find all my sources for this video in the description. Let's start with the check-in before the event. The queuing system for check-in was not clear. Some attendees were told that lines were based on last name, while others were told it was split into VIP and non-VIP. This chaos led to a very slow-moving check-in line. At most of the events, fans were instructed to not arrive early and line up at the venue, otherwise their passes would be cancelled. But in Toronto, fans were told to arrive at 10 a.m. for check-in, but were left waiting outside the venue for most of the day anyway, as check-in didn't actually start until much later. Some say TGM staff never actually showed up, and venue security did most of the check-in process. TGM later included in a statement that they were present at the venue, but were busy dealing with an issue with the LED wall on the stage at Toronto that was never fully fixed. As for seating, TGM told attendees that there was a mandatory seating chart for all of the venues with seats. Attendees were supposed to be emailed their seating assignment, but many weren't. In the Soul Beats article, one fan recounts, "We waited for 20 minutes as the staff members ran around confused, asking each other about the seating arrangement. I specifically heard Nadia, the CEO of TGM, say to the venue staff, 'Our first priority now is to get the seats filled before the concert starts.' Then, all of a sudden, the seating became general admission. This was not fair because I paid $220 for a VIP pass, which guaranteed front seats. However, because of TGM's poor organization, non-VIPs were able to sit up front." TGM later stated that the seating chart was imposed on them a few days before the event by the venue, so they couldn't implement it flawlessly. They also say that the sudden reverting to general admission was made because the check-in was taking too long, and if the event started late, it would mean BTS had less time to perform, so Nadia single-handedly made the call to change to GA. The autograph session before the event was incredibly rushed, with fans moved by staff before they could say anything to BTS. According to fans, some staff even scolded BTS members for not signing fast enough. Some fans were so rushed they were moved faster than BTS could sign their actual poster, and received a different poster than the one they started with. Also, according to fans who went, the autograph session was so rushed that they finished 40 minutes ahead of schedule, and staff made fans wait outside the venue for those 40 minutes, rather than allow for more fan interaction. At the Houston stop, according to TGM, there was an issue with the shipment of official highlight posters arriving on time, so fans got a much smaller poster than other stops, and a few fans even had to use blank A4 printer paper for autographs instead. The actual concert was also disappointing for a lot of fans. Although fans said the BTS members performed well, they only performed 4 songs total, which was not made totally clear in the event's advertising. Most fans were expecting something more like the fan meetings held in Asia, but BTS just performed 4 songs and left the stage. Some fans also said that the opening act performed longer than BTS. At the high touch and photo sessions, things weren't much better. At the San Francisco stop, TGM suddenly announced that the $50 ticket holders / t-shirt owners would be admitted to the high touch session, even though these tickets didn't originally include this. To compound this, non-VIPs and those who bought the $50 shirts got to take part in these activities before VIPs. VIPs had to wait outside in the cold night until they were allowed back in. Thankfully, after a huge amount of backlash, TGM didn't allow those who paid $50 into the high touch at future stops. This Reddit thread contains accounts from lots of fans who went, saying BTS looked exhausted and over it at the high touch. The photo session was advertised as only including 8 to 10 fans per photo, along with the BTS members, but each stop actually included up to 25 fans in each photo. Additionally, the photos were quite low quality and BTS had to sit on the bare floor for every single photo session after they had already performed. Community 54 was supposed to provide multiple looks for the fan photos in each city because, fashion. But it's clear from the fan photos of the event that Community 54 didn't fulfill this promise. In fact, some members seem to be wearing the same Community 54 branded clothing at multiple stops. Now let's talk about general TGM staff misconduct. Fans at each of the stops reported seeing instances of both fans and BTS members being manhandled by TGM, though TGM called this subjective in a later statement. There's also a video of a TGM staffer giving BTS fans a middle finger at the Houston airport. TGM confirmed this was a staff member in the same statement. I want to emphasize here once again that a lot of this is based on fan accounts, as filming in the venue was strictly prohibited. Therefore, there isn't really any way to confirm everything fans alleged, but a lot of fans were giving similar stories. I remember how many horrendous live updates we got on Twitter from this event as it was happening. All of the things I've mentioned so far are more general problems that happen to varying degrees at every tour stop, but there was one stop that was monumentally worse than the others, and it's what really made everyone, including the wider English-speaking K-pop fandom at the time, discover the bottomless pit of horrors happening at the Highlight Tour. Let's talk about the Atlanta stop. Let's start with the less horrible offenses. In Atlanta, lines were split into check-in and entry for those with general admission t-shirts. One fan recounted, "There was no staff present outside to help us," and TGM left it up to the fans who arrived first to pass the message on to everyone else. The seating chart, autograph session, and concert also had the same issues as the other stops. However, minutes before the 7 p.m. start time of the performances, the last 100 to 150 attendees in line were locked out of the venue. They were ushered out into the rain and, after some time, informed that the venue had been overbooked. The fire marshal would not allow any more attendees beyond maximum capacity. According to fans, this message was relayed by venue staff on behalf of TGM. No TGM staff were seen at that time. TGM later stated this was due to a glitch in their ticket/shirt system. Who would have guessed that a weird ticket-shirt system would have had problems? Gee. The venue management then gave those locked out a red wristband and relayed an alleged promise from TGM to give the locked out fans a compensatory high-touch session with the members and a group photo with them. They also handed out slips of paper, serving as refund applications. After the performances ended, the locked-out fans were ushered into the venue. Despite being promised priority for the high-touch and photo sessions, these fans still had to wait while others went ahead of them. One fan added that, after everyone else had finished their fan engagement sessions and left, those locked out had lined up to see BTS, but they were stopped by a woman who the fan would later recognize as Nadia, the CEO. The group was sent back to the stage area, where they were instructed to wait after getting into groups of 25. At around 10 p.m., they discovered that BTS had left without seeing them. TGM later admitted that they had not informed either the group or the agency Big Hit Entertainment that they had made this promise to the locked-out fans. Eventually, Nadia and other TGM staff came to apologize in person. Fans pressed them on the compensatory high-touch and photo session, but according to fans, they evaded the question, and after some yelling from very frustrated fans, they finally admitted that they didn't tell the members or their management. We can actually corroborate this, as one fan was fed up enough to disregard the no recording rule and posted a video of this online.
The situation is that, due to our own mistake, we oversold you guys tickets.
Yeah, we know that. We know that!
We will do our best to reimburse any expenses.
Okay, so you're gonna pay all these people's pay tickets?
We were waiting an hour in the rain for them. Did you even let them know?
I told you somebody's gonna say something before I did.
We understand you're very upset with us. We understand you're pissed.
No.
Where's my Eric
Vietnam money.
So, this is not their fault. This is completely
Yeah, we
TGM
know.
We've said
We
that.
know. We know it's not Big Head. It's you.
They not tell the boys directly.
Yeah, we didn't tell them. So the venue's closing, so we have to leave. There are girls crying. Like I cannot. I am in awe.
TGM also posted an apology on their Twitter, which Nadia later stated was because after the events of the day, TGM was instructed to issue an official statement and apology indemnifying the artist and the artist agency of the day's events, and had we not, they would not be performing the next day in Toronto. To make matters worse, a TGM staff member on a now-deleted Twitter account tweeted that the Atlanta stop was oversold as far back as July. But a week before the show, more shirts were made available for all dates. The oversold situation could have changed due to people getting refunds between these tweets and the event date, but it's still quite suspicious. So, let's talk about the aftermath of this event. Many fans understandably wanted a refund after the bungled Highlight Tour ended.
So you're gonna pay all these people's pay tickets?
TGM originally told fans they would give a refund to those using PayPal. However, fans quickly found out after the event that TGM's PayPal account was frozen. But it's not just fans who were left unpaid. Aura Systems, which was the company who provided the microphone and sound equipment for the Houston show, asked TGM for payment via tweet as TGM never paid them. Nadia later noted in a clarifying statement that she knew Aura Systems was trying to contact them and claimed it was a single payment oversight. Additionally, TGM staff were apparently mostly volunteers and never paid. Some were even stranded in Toronto by Nadia and had to ask others to fund their trips home. Then, on October 5th, 2015, Nadia released a 5-page statement of clarification to TGM's Facebook page. Asian Junkie, a site I never thought I'd use as a source for anything, summarized this incredibly long statement well. 1. There was a lack of preparation involved in most of these errors. 2. The reason people didn't get what they were promised was because of a lack of communication and organization, which is the main job of an event organizer. 3. If the venues were oversold, it was because somebody else's system glitched and then the venue decided not to allow more people in and potentially violate fire code, and they had a hard time figuring out capacity anyway. 4. You can indeed get a refund, but only if you send back their t-shirt and poster to fucking Malaysia. On this point, here's a screenshot of an email one of the fans who applied for a refund received from TGM. Of course, most fans were in the US or Canada, and paying for international postage would likely cancel out a large chunk of the money they'd receive from a refund. Nadia says the reason for this was simply because the transaction was made with an overseas registered PayPal account and an overseas registered company, whatever that means. 5. Of course, all those explanations tie into the most important message here. 99% of this wasn't the fault of TGM Events. Although I couldn't find any updates on whether TGM actually issued refunds, it's doubtful they did. While fans were demanding refunds for the Highlight Tour, TGM still hadn't given the refunds for either the cancelled Kim Tae-woo and Eric Nam concerts, or a failed Indiegogo campaign launched by Nadia under the name Aiden Knoll, an anagram of her first and last name. So, what can this spectacular failure of a tour teach us? First of all, be wary of scams. Always look into anyone who's promising something that seems too good to be true. If something doesn't add up, do some more research. In fact, do research and background check organizers even if things do add up. On the flip side, this also shows how far K-pop tours in the USA have come in just the past 5 years. Like I mentioned earlier, because K-pop was a much smaller market and not many groups had toured here previously, scams like these were fairly frequent and really easy to fall for, because many fans badly wanted to believe that this one wouldn't be so bad. On a personal note, I remember when this tour was announced. I was really excited to maybe see BTS again, since I had just attended the Red Bullet in Dallas and was thrilled at the idea of being able to experience a BTS concert again so quickly. I showed the event to my mom because it's kind of our thing to go to concerts together. I was full of excitement, but my mom's scam senses tingled when they said they wanted her to buy a shirt instead of a ticket, and quickly discouraged me from going. So thanks for that, Mom. We probably would have gone to the Atlanta stop too, so that's kind of scary to think about. So yeah, do your research. Don't let excitement cloud your critical thinking skills like I almost did. If you're interested in more BTS fandom history, I've also made a video on the Peachy Soda letter exchanges, so check that out if you're interested. I'd like to make this a series because I have fun making these videos, but it depends entirely on if I'm able to recall interesting events in BTS history, so please help me jog my memory in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, bye!